here knows what it feels like to be really nervous just trying to get up in the morning. Or trying to get yourself to work. Maybe going to the grocery store so you finally get yourself some food so you could finally make yourself a real meal. Well, for those of you who raised your hand, I want to say thank you for sharing that with me. If you didn't raise your hand, but you could still relate, that's totally fine too. But I hope, if you do relate to that after my 10 minutes here, you will feel a little bit better about raising your hand. Before I continue, my name is Alyssa Campeau, and I'd like to thank Fiona for having me here, as well as Mojito House, and also Ronnie for kicking my butt and getting me up here. So thank you, Ronnie. Those really nervous feelings that I was just talking about are actually what brought me here tonight, and if it's okay with all of you, I'd like to share that part of my story and why I think every one of you should be able to get up here and share your stories as well. Would that be okay with everyone? All right, thank you. So you might not believe it, but recently, over the past 2 months, I've been going through what I've just been calling once more a major funk. But it's time for me to stop sugarcoating it and just call it what it really is and say those words: depression and anxiety. Nearly every single morning, I was waking up feeling depressed and really anxious just at the thought of living another day just being so lost. And the thing was, I was feeling sky high on life just before. And to me, one of the worst feelings in the world is knowing how good it feels to feel good when you just feel like crap. Sorry, I don't know if that's a bad word. when you just don't feel good. And you can't shake that feeling. So I'm not actually here to tell you what brought me to feeling that way, but I feel like I do have the responsibility now standing in front of you to remind all of us of the importance of self-care. Because essentially, that's what happened to me, was that I let go of my self-care. And I'm not talking about the self-care like when we take a bubble bath and put a face mask on and get our nails done, although that's all really, really nice. I'm talking about the self-care where you prioritize yourself both mentally and emotionally. Because minding our minds is an essential part to self-care. Our minds and our emotions are so powerful that they're constantly writing stories for ourselves. And if you don't stay aware of those emotions, the wrong stories will get written for you. So I stopped minding my mind, and a new story was being written for me. And with the power of my mind, I made myself believe that nobody would notice. I still went to work. I didn't let it get in the way. When my friends spoke to me, I seemed relatively normal as I believe myself to be. And despite me being so supportive of everyone else's mental health, I still felt a shame inside. So it was behind closed doors where I kept this a secret, and I didn't share this part of my story. But the thing is, in today's world, we actually like to share a lot about our lives, all online, right? But only the highlight reel. Whether it be pictures of our cute cat, or really yummy food, or good times with our friends, we share a lot. Me being one of those people. So when you go nearly every single day to sharing your life online, to suddenly just completely disappearing, people do start to question you. And it was one Saturday afternoon, I was just home alone, bawling my eyes out in the midst of another crying crisis, where I received another message from another friend asking me where I had been. And it was something within that message that just triggered something inside of me that just said, enough is enough. It's time to speak up. It's time to share something real. So with that, I did something that a lot of people would find pretty scary. I decided to share on all of my social media, where all my friends and my family, even coworkers and strangers could see, 2 photos of me. One, me being bright and smiley and glowy, like at the peak of my happiness, to right there and then, just teary-eyed, swollen, red face. And with those two photos came a really long and uncensored story of how I was really feeling. And I said that a lot of people would find that scary because, that does sound pretty scary, but somehow in that moment, I didn't actually feel scared at all. I felt relieved once I clicked that button. I felt powerful because with the pain that I was feeling, I managed to find the power in sharing your story. I held space for people to say, yeah, me too. I let people have a moment of being comfortable with being their authentic selves. People who I didn't even know hardly reached out to me and said thank you and shared their story with me. I gave people the chance to raise their hand. But I'm not gonna lie, the fear eventually did set in the very next day after sharing those two photos. Despite all the love and the support that was coming in, the voices of negative self-talk and self-criticism came knocking at my door, and they got really, really loud. They started to say to me, hello, wasn't that just a little too much? People are just gonna think you're seeking attention. Geez, Alyssa, you have so much to be thankful for. What are you even sad about? You wanna promote a positive mindset? No one's gonna trust you now. You wanna help people? You've lost all credibility. Oh my God, what are people thinking? Blah, 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 blah. These voices went on. But then I stopped, and I remembered to mind my mind, and I practiced that little bit of self-care. And I said to those voices, thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you, for trying to keep me safe. But safe is not where I will thrive. Safe is not where I will grow. Because it's outside of our comfort zones where we find our real strengths. And I was listening to the wonderful Brené Brown the other day, for anyone who knows her, and she says that oftentimes we make up a lot of stories about other people's fearlessness, yet we don't talk about their falls. She says that scars are easier spoken about than to actually show, and that rarely do we see the wounds that are still healing. So, here I am, coming back up from another fall, one of many and not my last, still healing, but I'm standing up with the excitement to grow and get stronger than I already am. Because it was with that moment of vulnerability that I realized the power of sharing the story and the impact that you could have by the willingness to share your truth. And I said at the beginning of my speech that I think every single one of us could be up here sharing our stories too, because I truly believe that. Oh man, this is where I need to pull out my cue cards. That's okay, Brené Brown. Okay, yes. So you might be thinking to yourself, or that voice inside of your head might be telling you, who are you to share your story? So I encourage you to tell that voice inside your head, thank you, I love you, because it's just trying to keep you safe too. But I want to encourage all of us to stop playing it safe and to step outside of your comfort zone. Because you may think that your story is a small one, but trust me, to someone else, it's not. Oh my gosh. I want all of us to be unapologetically and authentically you, because we can never reach our full potential if we're not willing to be our true selves. So, I'm gonna give up on these. So essentially, don't waste your story. I want you to fall back down, but get back up, and to find the power in the pain that you're feeling, and to share your story, because we're all influencing people that we don't even know that are watching. and you have the power to impact them, and your story might be their chance to raise their hand. And that's it.